water style.
Crank that shit, crank that shit, crank that shit, crank that shit, that shit, crank that shit, that shit, crank that shit. It's 2.0. You better crank this shit or water child. Gon' crank that shit. It's 2.0. You better crank this shit or water child. Gon' crank that shit, that shit, crank that shit, that shit, that shit. Crank that shit, yeah, crank that shit. Reverse scale, devastating, be a 2.0. Water style, I was born in the cliffs, so I'm a water child. I'm finna crank this shit, ain't getting watered down. Same boy say water style, he'll cut you down. This my city, nigga, it ain't your town. This only about 10 ounces, they ain't even a pound. I used to be not making a sound, but I'm finna crank this. In elementary, they was mad cause they wasn't slick. In other words, they was mad cause they ain't this, ain't this, ain't this. 2.0, you better crank that shit, that shit, that shit. Crank that shit, that's 2.0. You better crank this shit, or water child. Gon' crank that shit, it's 2.0. You better crank this shit, or water child. Gon' crank that shit, that's 2.0. You better crank that shit, that's water child. Gon' crank that shit, that's 2.0. You better crank this shit, or water child. Gon' crank that shit, that's water style, water style, water style. Want to stop, crank that, 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 crank that. It's 2.0. You better crank this, crank this, crank this, crank this, crank this, crank this. I'm finna crank it till it's full potential. This J give a L, you see, I just signed. I mainly shine cause I focus on mine and out grind. If I wanted directions, I had to read the sign. So I stayed in the box cause the road is an outline. Out body in, but my mind out. Y'all got tears or fears, you wanna scream and shout. Penalties get all set, do anything for clout. Keep nobody in your circle that creates doubt. Yeah, crank that shit, that shit, that shit, crank that shit, that Jacboe, 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 it's 2.0. You better crank this shit or water child. Gon' crank that shit, it's 2.0. You better crank this shit or water child. Gon' crank that shit, it's 2.0. You better crank this shit or water child. Gon' crank that shit, it's 2.0. You better crank this shit or water child. Gon' crank that shit, crank that shit, that shit, that shit, crank that shit, that crank that shit, crank that shit, that crank that shit, that's 2.0, 2.0, 2.0, 2.0, water style, it's 2.0, 2.0, 2.0, it's water style, water style, water style. It's the crank. Crank that shit, that shit, that shit.